Good morning, everybody. Welcome along. Today is Tuesday. It's the 25th of July 2023. This is your 8 a.m. movement snack. A little bit earlier, at 6:45. Quite a bit earlier, at 6:45. So I can head off out to work. So, if you come on board live, say hello. If you are on catch-up, which I guess many of you are going to be today, then hi to you as well. Hope you're keeping well. I'm going to move this across a little bit because there's a bit of a glare there, isn't there? We'll go there, look. We'll go like that, a bit of a glare. And we'll put, we'll really mix stuff up. Put the chair over here today. Oh my gosh, how am I going to cope? No, don't like the chair there. It's going to throw me the whole time. We'll put the chair here and we'll go here, okay? Right, so welcome. Right, we'll get straight on with our 3, 2, 1, shall we? We'll go with the bush ping. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome along. You're with myself, Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. It is Tuesday, 25th of July, 2023. This is your 8 a.m. movement snack. So, first opportunity to get those additional movement minutes into our day. It's about circulation boosting and it's about mobility. Now, I can see we've got Maddie Stanger with us. So, good morning, Maddie. Good to have you with us. We're going to crack straight on. So firstly, if you're on a carpeted floor, you do have the opportunity to wear socks or bare feet. If you're on a hard floor, however, it needs to be sensible, comfortable footwear. As always, you know, I'm going to rush out of the house straight after this, so I've got my shoes on ready, so hit the road and run in. Now, in standing, make sure you've got some fixed external support. In seated, strong, sturdy chair. I am going to put the chair over this side and be done with it. I shall confuse the heck out of myself. So I've got some better support here. Right. So, let's have a look at our posture before we go any further. So, in our standing position and in our seating position, it's exactly the same. We just need to make sure we come into this front third of the chair in our seated position. And to do that, we lift and shift to walk the hips into the front third of the chair. Then line everything up. Heels in line with knees, knees in line with hips. Lift to create an extra bit of space between your ribs and your hips. Bring your shoulders up, back, and press them down so we've opened that rib cage. And then from there, let's start with some heel raises. Pushing up onto the ball of the feet, so we start to get some movement happening into our lower part of the body. And then from there, we can take it into a march. Lifting the foot clear of the floor gives us the opportunity to get some bigger movement happening. Once we've got that movement happening, we can start to look at how we progress this. We progress it by making it bigger rather than faster. So we can start to make the movement a bit bigger in our standing position. Remembering it's seated, if it's too intense for you here, if you start to get some muscle fatigue into this hip flexor, you've always got the opportunity to come back into those heel raises or back into that mark, but make it a bit smaller again. Hand arm in, just the one arm to start off with, and if we are using support in standing, the other hand is on the support. And then we're going to change hands. So if you're not using support, you can just change it. If you are, you make sure the hand comes down first. Now that means that if your hand is to the side with your support, it's slightly different. Because what you're going to do is keep the hand going on one side a little bit longer and then lose the arm totally. Make the march a bit smaller as you take as many steps as you need to turn into your support. And that's when you'll have both hands on. And as you carry on turning, you can take the other hand off and bring it back in on the other side. And then finally, in seated and in standing, if we're not using support, both arms, both legs, lots of movement happening. This is what it's all about, yeah? So, driving through, keeping strong and tall, lifted and lengthened. We've got the body warming up. We're getting the muscles warm. We're warming the joints and we're loosening those joints. Now, as we get to the 2 minutes, 3 minutes is an absolute max. Start to bring it down. Lose the arms, make the march a little bit smaller. Bring it back into a heel raise. And at that point, we're ready to take a pause. Might want to take a couple of deep breaths. And we're ready to move into our mobilisation. Starting with the top trio, our head and shoulders. Line everything up, make sure the knees are soft. Keep this neck lengthened as we lift the shoulders up towards the ears and then press them back down. Now it's a clean lift and a lower. Don't allow them to come forward or backwards. Lifting and then pressing back down. 4 or 5 of these, and once you've done your 4 or 5, have a pause and then rotate. So come forward, up, back past your earlobe, shoulder blades together at the back, and then press down. So we get this cyclical motion happening. That's what we're looking for, this good cyclical motion. Next, staying lengthened still, and again 4 or 5 of these. And once you've done your 4 or 5, have a pause and let's take it into the head turn. Hand on your support if you need to. Eye line stays level, lengthen through the neck. We turn to the side, pause in the centre, and then turn the other way. Now keep your eye line level so that we're not tipping the head forward or backwards. And use your support if you need it. If you feel any dizziness or disorientation, hand on that support, and a system in your body called your proprioception will help your body to understand where it is in relation to everything else around it, and that will help as far as your giddiness or your disorientation or dizziness is concerned. 4 or 5 on each side, remembering how many times do we turn our head during the day. Once you've done 4 or 5 of those, we're taking it into the back of the neck, and we're going to line everything up. So it's this part of the neck we're working on. Eye line stays level, and to help us with that, fingers on the chin as a guide. As we draw back, pause and then draw back again. Now you can either keep the fingers on the chin as a guide to keep the chin or keep the eye line level, or you use them as a guide to where you started and where you finished. But because we're keeping our eye line level, we're giving ourselves an extra chin, but that's fine. It's about the draw and the release, restacking everything and lining everything down through the spine. Once you're doing 4 or 5 of those, have a little pause and we're back into a reboost of our circulation. Bottom half of the body only, so it's the feet. Lifting the feet clear of the floor, getting this march happening. And we keep that going for a few moments. State of my... No wonder you look a bit foggy this morning. State of my glasses, I must clean them. 30 seconds of activity here. Just enough to reboost that circulation as we move from this top trio down into our trunk. And this is about this area. So one of the things we need to focus on here is making sure the hips stay still and the pelvis stays still when we do these movements. So we focus everything into here, thinking about the number of times we turn during the day, we reach down, all those sorts of activities. This is what this is about. Now, as you get to 30 seconds, bring it to a pause and we're going to reset that base. So heels are outside of our knees in line with our shoulders. Knees soften still, and the first movement is down to the side and pause in the centre. Now the feet are staying firmly on the floor, so the bottom stays firmly on that chair. If you're using support, change hands every time, unless it's to the side, in which case into the support, back to the centre, and repeat your 4 or 5 on that side before you turn in. As I said, your bottom stays firmly on the chair. So as I come down to the side, I'm not lifting the bum, I'm keeping it firmly planted on that chair, so we're getting a lengthening through the opposite side rather than a lift. Reaching down, drawing up, and a pause. And this pause in the centre is an opportunity just to reset everything, or to actually go, do you know what? Switch off, reset, and go. But it's about making sure that all of the action happens here. Now, once we've done our 4 or 5 of those, we're going to take it into a twist, a rotation, a trunk turn. So here again, in seated, bottom stays firmly on the chair. As we rotate across to the side, pause in the centre, and then take it the other way. In standing, it's about really focusing on making sure those hips stay still. So knees are softened, turning to the side, back in. And again, the support is exactly the same. If it's to the side, you do all 4 or 5 on that side and then change. If it's in front, you change hands every time. Or you use your support like a chair. So you put your bottom against it, or you put your hips against it. That's then going to tell you whether you've got movement in those hips. And we want to isolate everything into this area. We don't want to twist down through the hips, because if we do, we start to get misalignment down through the rest of the body, look. So I'm starting to twist, I'm getting a twist down through that knee. Plus, I'm not actually targeting where I want to do. I'm not getting the movement that I want into here. It might start as a small movement, but the more you do it, the bigger that movement will get. Once you do 4 or 5 on each side, we're into our back extension. Now here, this is where we focus on the pelvis. So the pelvis stays still. Keep the knees soft, and that's going to help. Lift the chest, and then extend. And you'll feel this into your lower back. Release and release. Now again, in standing, you might want to use your support to give you that input, because in seated, I can feel through the way that my bottom and the top part of my thighs are touching that chair as to whether I've got movement. If the weight is changing, then I know I've got movement into my, excuse me, pelvis, and we don't want that. We want to keep the movement into the lower back. Now, once you've done your 4 or 5 of those, have a little pause, and we're back into a reboost of our circulation. Upper body this time, driving the elbows backwards, getting that movement happening there. 30 seconds just to reboost the body before we head down to our final trio, our ankle, feet and toes. Now, if you're not looking to come to a standing position, this is an opportunity for you to go over one of the head and shoulders or the trunk movements again. Alternatively, we take it into our ankle, feet and toes. This movement here, you can start to make it a little bit bigger if you want to. And as we get to the 30 seconds, bring it down a bit smaller and then bring it back into a pause, at which point we are ready to move into ankle, feet and toes. So in standing, use your support so that you focus everything into this movement here. We place the toes on the floor and then we put the heel in exactly the same place. When the heel's down, splay your toes. As you come on over, scrunch them and then point them. Use your support so you can focus everything into that movement. It's not about balance, it's about mobility. In seated, we can do that same movement. We just need to adjust the feet to allow us to be able to get that good range of motion in. Or if you find that uncomfortable, you may want to take this little hip walk back into the chair. So we're at the back of the chair, but we're not leaning on it, we're still supporting. Take the leg out in front, one at a time, lift it off the floor about an inch, point the toes away, bring the toes in towards the shin. Again, here's that movement. Now this isn't about strength, so if you need to, you pop the foot down after every one or every couple, and you certainly don't allow it to lift up here. Keep it down low towards the floor. Again, you've got that scrunch as you're pointing the toes away, and that splay as you bring the toes in. And once you've done your 4 or 5 on one side, you change to the other. To finish off, we can take a few steps through, stepping forward, ball of the foot coming up onto the back as we place the heel and roll through onto the ball of the foot to bring that flat foot onto the floor at the front. It's a walking position, and that's why we focus on mobility for the ankles. There you go, that is your 8 AM movement snack, slightly earlier today. Have a great day, stay active, stay moving, keep crowbarring, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at normal time. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have a good one, everybody. Toodles!